On this episode of the Girl Talk podcast.
And all of a sudden, all of our headspace and all of our lives are filled with stuff. And so we can't just stop and pause and think and be silent and be still and find rest. And it's in those times that the Lord can speak to us.
Hello there. You're listening to the Girl Talk podcast. My name is Carol.
I'm Kelly.
Hey, I'm Tricia.
And we want to say thank you to our friends at Compassion for sponsoring this season of the Girl Talk podcast. We are big believers in what Compassion does as they release children from poverty in Jesus' name all around the world. You can find out about how to get involved with Compassion at thelightfm.org. Click on the Compassion banner or go to the Girl Talk page. You'll see a Compassion banner there as well. Today, we are talking about having a life, which I'm going to defer to y'all because I don't have one. So I have really limited.
Define life.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Yes.
What is this life you speak of?
Yes. So a long time ago, it was actually as I was going through a divorce, someone asked me, like, what is it that you like to do?
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know. I don't. I mean, like I had zero answer, and I wasn't just playing, being hard to get along with, and being difficult like I often do. But I really didn't know.
Yeah.
And I realized in the course of that conversation that I had lost myself. Like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked to do. I didn't know what charged my batteries. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself there today, we're so glad you came. Because that's what we're going to be talking about, that we do have lives outside of kids and responsibilities and all of the things. But that conversation was really critical for me to figure out that I had lost myself in the process of being a new mom. My daughter was 2 at that point. And how do you think you lose yourself?
You get just caught up in doing so many other things, serving. Serving other people and not serving yourself. You get so caught up in your kids' activities or in the role that you play in whatever job you've been given or whatever volunteer service you're doing or something. And all of a sudden it becomes about the doing and not about the being.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you're saying. You get lost in your role in life, and that might be a parent, it might be a caregiver, it might be a teacher, preacher, it might be a spouse. Who knows?
Responsibilities.
It's your responsibilities, your role, how you identify yourself, where you're putting all your energy. And if none of it is going to you and what you do apart from all those other things, then you're going to feel lost.
I think we just allow ourselves to get busy. It's that crazy busy schedules that we lead, and all of a sudden all of our headspace and all of our lives are filled with stuff, and so we can't just stop and pause and think and be silent and be still and find rest. And it's in those times that the Lord can speak to us and remind us of who we are and remind us what we're passionate about and let us be creative.
But we fill up. We fill up all those moments.
Yes, the thoughts. We fill up all the thoughts.
Yeah, I think busy is the new fine.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
How you doing? I'm busy. Because I think we equate busyness with significance.
Sure. Yeah.
Like we think if we're busy, then people need us.
Right. Yeah.
But when's the last time you heard somebody say anything but busy or fine?
Right.
Like
It's true.
Yeah.
I think really busy has become the new fine.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've gone through that. Same. You're talking about having the somebody asking you, what do you like to do? And you have no answer. I've been through that multiple times, multiple seasons in my life. Somebody will say, what's your hobbies? Well, I don't know what my hobbies are. I mean,
pottery's
taking care of my kids. Now I have a new hobby.
Yes. That's so fun.
Yes. I'm a potter now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yes, you are.
I am a potter.
Yes.
How does that feel to say that?
I've taken one complete class.
But you're partially in your second.
I'm partially in my second class of pottery.
Good.
And so I'm going to claim it. I am a potter. I have made a pot.
Well, you have your own wheel, so that makes you a potter.
Yeah.
Right. It's not come out of its box yet.
Oh, well,
that's okay.
Doesn't matter.
But you still have it.
You still have it.
Still fancy.
Right.
Yes.
I own clay, and I know how to make clay go from a square slab and turn it into a cup that I could drink out of.
There's something like spiritual about that.
Absolutely.
Listen to that.
I mean, God's a creator.
Yes.
And so I think in all of us, He has given us creativity and He has given us the ability to create. And we just have to figure out in what way, we're supposed to do that. Maybe, for me, it's pottery. For other people, it may be cooking. It may
Not
be
us. Right, Carol?
I'm out.
for other people.
There's
for other people.
You may be a cook.
Yes.
It may
We're glad
be,
for you, too.
Yes.
It may be writing.
Yes.
It may be acting.
Yes.
There's all kinds of things that we can do to really express that kind of creativity side of us that God has given us. And
So
that's become my new hobby.
How did you find pottery? I mean, because I can imagine somebody listening to this say, okay, how do you find things that recharge you and refill you?
Well, she said something really cool that I hadn't thought about. You said, find how you express yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that might be an answer or partial answer to your questions, like how do you express yourself? And it might be through art in some manner or through writing or something, but it's an expression. And if you learn how to express yourself, that's one great way to create that or find the hobby or the thing that is uniquely you.
Yeah.
Well, I tried painting first, and I realized that I really liked to paint by number, and I couldn't do anything other than paint by number. And
still
I was
good.
really in my box with all of that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, this is not for me. This is too much stress and pressure.
But how
it has
cool
to be
that you
perfect.
tried.
Yeah, I mean, There's lots of little $5 paint by number kits.
Did you know you needed something?
Yes,
Was that what was going on?
Yeah, so I think that really does get to the heart of it, is that I knew that, first of all, I was looking around at my life and realizing that I now had a 15-year-old son who didn't want to participate in activities with his mama anymore.
He didn't want to paint by
so-
numbers
I
was thinking
with you.
that.
Right,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to do paint by numbers with me. He doesn't want to do pottery with me either.
Yeah.
He also doesn't want to talk to me.
Right.
And my husband who works a lot, and so all of a sudden I found myself with time on my hands, and so I could choose to do the Facebook scroll or play the video games or something on my phone.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is not feeding me. I want to do something that really does help me. First of all, get outside of myself, quiet my brain, and just breathe. And I wanted something that I could do when my house is quiet. When my son leaves in a couple of years to go off to college and I become an empty nester, I want something that is mine, something that brings me joy, something that is not about serving somebody else. I'm such a server. I'm such a active person. I want to be involved in this, and I want to lead that, and I want to, serve on this committee and do that thing. Yeah. All of that's about doing something for somebody else, and I just wanted to do something for me, to have my
Fill
place
you
to
up.
be me. Right?
Yep.
Fill up
So
your
that was the
cup.
heart behind it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do you have anything like that, T?
Well, I think one of the things that I really spend a lot of time doing, and arguably too much time, is tennis. That is really kind of where I'm expressing myself on the tennis court and different things like that. I our pastor talked about Sabbath, talked about resting, and I think it relates to this in when you have a mentally taxing job or life, most of your time is spent mentally, then a really great way to release and refresh yourself is doing something physically. And then if you have a physical job or physical life, a really great way to refresh yourself is doing something mentally, reading a book or doing something creative like that. So I feel like I do a lot of mental stuff with most of my life. So getting out onto the tennis court and moving my body feels very refreshing to me.
Yeah.
And there's just no limit to how much time I can spend improving on the skills or the strategy, and that's kind of creative and fun for me. I've also learned so much about your mental self. God gave us these amazing minds, and they're so powerful. We just scratched the surface, but I've been doing some visualization based on this book about one aspect of my tennis game, which is my serve, and just imagining doing this service motion to improve it because it needed it. And after several days of doing that, I walk up on the court, haven't played since then, but I've been doing the visualization. Boom. my serve was so improved because God has given us these amazing minds and we can do things like that. So that's fun for me to kind of come up with that kind of thing and do strategies and learn and practice skills. So for me, that's one thing that I do for myself.
Yeah.
Does that make
That's
sense?
awesome. Yeah. What about you, Carol? What do you do for yourself?
So, I have I'm going to say the last year of my life have been entertaining the idea of solitude. Because I'm very rarely quiet. And I am realizing that for me, busyness is kind of like a avoidance mechanism. If I can just stay busy, I don't deal with things or think about things. And sometimes the best thing I can do for me is just process. I do write. Oftentimes, though, I don't write unless I'm assigned something. So that has almost become like an assignment.
Jobby.
A little job. Well, not even necessarily that, but it just seems assignment driven. I like to read. I love to read. But I think the last year of my life, I've realized the older I get, the more I need some space and just to stop planning every minute and to let my identity be tied to activity and instead just be still.
Yeah.
I'm so terrible at it. But I think I need that. I do write sometimes during that time, but just being able to think through things. I just don't allow myself a whole lot of time to do that. Now, I'll say this. I can have too much of it where I start to turn inward, so I have to be really careful about that. But I think it's just been interesting to, over the last year or so, read a lot about solitude and realize I need that peace in my life. And why I'm not getting it is because I tend to say too many yeses. And the cost of too many yeses is not all that great.
Yeah.
And it can help you get physically sick, emotionally sick, and just saying yes to too many things because my identity's tied to that.
Saying yes can be very expensive.
Yes, it is. It is. And I think the reason that I discovered that was because the yes became so expensive that I was like at my end of just being, and I wasn't, and I knew that because I couldn't keep up with the pace that it was like a normal pace for me. Like the things that I would normally be able to do, I was like, I can't do that anymore. And part of that's just I'm getting a little bit older, but the other part of it too is that I was just running on empty for so long that I just didn't have anything left. So that is kind of, and I'm still toying with it and what it looks like and trying to make it a practice that I build into my life. And there are some weeks I do really good and other weeks I do really bad. So I'm a beginner in that sense, but I think it's been refreshing for me to realize I don't have to schedule every minute of my day.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And it's okay to do nothing.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't think I'd ever heard that before. And when God kind of whispered that to my heart, like, it's okay if you have a Saturday and nothing on your schedule. Like, that's completely okay.
Yeah.
I dream of that, and then I never allow myself to do that.
Right.
I'll see a blank space on the calendar, and I'm like, ooh, I salivate.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I've scheduled 4 things.
Well, and just the fellowship you can have with the Lord
Yeah.
when you allow yourself to be in solitude and be silent, or turn on some praise music.
It's been interesting to me, the things that bubble up. That kind of float to the surface when you just like, because even with what I do, music sometimes can be like a distraction.
Yeah.
Because I'm around music so much. But if I'm quiet and I like pay attention to what bubbles up to the surface, it's not always what you would think. And sometimes it's funny. Sometimes I'll just be by myself and I'll get so absolutely tickled I can't stand it. And I'm like, where are all the people that would laugh at this and think this is funny? So
Do
I
you
text
wheeze
them.
by yourself
I
when you
do
are?
wheeze by myself
that's
quite often.
good.
Yes. And snort too.
Yes.
So, but that's been something that's been new for me because most people that know me as loud and friendly and, always around people. And that does feed some part of me. But I'm finding as I get a little bit older that the opposite is true too. I need some time away to kind of recharge and get my batteries back up to a level where I can operate. But it's not always spiritual time. I don't want to sound like I'm some sage, spiritual sage, and I know no, it's not like that, because sometimes it's not. But something will rise to the top, and I'll be like, that's interesting,
Yeah, maybe it's something you just need to process.
Yeah.
You're talking about getting to know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't really do what we're talking about if you don't know yourself. You got to get to know yourself, and sometimes that's quiet, sometimes that's fun, sometimes it's active, sometimes it's creative. But getting to know yourself, is important, and it doesn't happen if you don't make time for it, because all these other things are going to encroach on that time.
Well, and I think it's funny because you'll see, like, I just need some me time, and I just need to, and I don't want us to get off on the wrong foot, because there's a tendency to look at that and think that's self-indulgent, and I need to go to spend the day at the spa. And I love that we all have such different things that we have found to kind of recharge ourselves, because yours is physical, yours is pottery and working with your hands. Mine's something totally different. It can be something as wild and different as, there's this one gal I know, and she took up rock climbing. I'm like, okay, whatever. She was like, it's so fun. No.
Nope.
I don't want to climb on rocks.
I think it's
but good
fun.
for you. Yeah. and she's really good at it, but she's just discovered that in the last couple of years. And so I think you just give your permission to see what you enjoy doing, and then allow yourself the permission to do that. And I think that's something that we don't give ourselves enough of. It's not, me time doesn't always look like a spa day. Sometimes if you need to, and here's the thing I found: I'm a better mom, a better friend, a better person if I do that than if I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
And like, I look at myself and I'm like, why did I not discover this like 30 years ago when I was first starting to kind of understand life, and take that time, because you show up more present in the areas where people need you when you're able to kind of charge your batteries, and kind of fully be present
and find when you're unique, where you are unique.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that is a great thing to show your kids or your friends or your coworkers or your spouse. When you find where you are unique, that's a beautiful thing, and it encourages them to find where they're unique too.
And I think too, you can find your local community college. That's how I found pottery. Local community colleges have all kinds of classes about all kinds of things, everything from soap making and quilting to, putting together Excel spreadsheets, and
that sounds like
not for
punishment.
everybody, but
Not
some
for me.
people really thrive on that. Yeah. And you can also just Google, are you interested in
Gardening.
gardening?
My husband loves gardening. Yeah.
Google something that's Google, gardening club near me or something, and you can find people like-minded who might be able to teach you things.
And one of the things I love about your example is that you weren't afraid to fail. Like, you tried something and you're like, nah, this is not for me. I'm not that
You
creative.
should have seen the pot I made last night. Oh,
Beautiful.
heavens.
No, I'm talking about your painting.
Oh yeah, the painting was awful. All of it was awful. But the pottery's much better.
Yeah.
Except the one I made last night. Like,
I would like it.
totally.
Yeah.
Nope, it's in the trash can.
Oh.
It was that bad.
You need to save it, though, so you can remember where you've come from.
That's true.
when
That's
you're
good.
Making pots
Yeah,
that
I
people
like
pay
that.
lots of money for.
It was a useless piece of clay.
Yes.
But anyway, yes, you're
But
right.
you're getting better.
But it wasn't
better.
useless
It was
because
fun.
you won't get your next one without having gone through that one.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right?
And she told me what I did wrong.
Right.
There you go.
I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
And
Yeah.
I
I
love,
won't do
too,
that
that
mistake
you're
again.
in process.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Because I think sometimes we think if we try something one time and we're not great at it, then that's not for us.
Yeah.
But it might be learning the new skill, just the process, just the journey to get there is
There's joy in the process.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm thinking my mom at some point during my life decided that, I guess I was so hyperactive, she thought I needed something to do, which I did. But she took me to this pottery place, and they had like things you could buy and then paint.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so I painted this bluebird, and it was so lovely.
Yeah.
I remember it as being lovely. It probably wasn't lovely. I'm wondering if
I'm
it's
sure
still.
it was fantastic.
Oh, we got to find the bluebird. Find that
I
thing.
I need to find it, but it was a lovely color of blue, and I thought
Yeah.
it was so great, and I gave it to her. I've never seen it since,
Oh,
but
It was in a special place.
probably the very I don't know why I thought of that. That was totally a rabbit trail. Sorry about that.
That's fun.
But anyway, you can be in process and not be great
Yes.
at it the first time, and the learning portion of it to be a good thing.
Yeah.
So how
Just do
would
something.
you, if somebody was sitting in front of you right now and they're like, how do I discover my thing? What are some tips that you would give them to discover their thing? We've already said, find out how you express yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see that.
Mhm.
Okay, what else?
What brings you joy?
What brings you joy?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And like I said with earlier, if you do a lot of physical, maybe look for something mental.
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
refresh
yeah.
yourself. Or if you do a lot of mental, do something physical. Just
Yeah.
a way of just mixing up your
Mixing
day
it up.
and finding something different that feels refreshing.
Yeah.
And what do you think about? Like, what makes you? What are you curious about? What
Yeah.
do you kind of wonder
Yeah.
about when you sit by yourself all alone? What bubbles up?
Yeah.
I wish I could skydive. That would be so much fun. Which never bubbles up for me, but I'm sure it would bubble up for somebody.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
afraid
like
of
to
heights,
get
so
in
that's
an
not-
airplane
Are you really
anyway.
afraid of heights?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that
I
either.
don't either. Uh-uh.
I mean, like that kind of heights. I
Okay.
can climb a ladder.
That's
I'm
okay.
not
high height.
like that, super, but I don't want to jump out of an airplane.
It's just a
But
lot of
it's for
ladders.
somebody.
Yeah.
It's for somebody. Maybe
Okay.
that's your thing. So whatever you can't stop thinking about, give it a try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you would add to the list?
I like pottery. Just try it.
Okay.
Yeah. Just buy
fine.
yourself some clay and make something with your hands.
And
Or Play-Doh.
don't tell
Play-Doh.
yourself no. If it sounds unrealistic,
Hmm.
like skydiving
Yeah.
or whatever it is, don't tell just maybe hold on to it. Hold it like a little pet for a minute and just love on it for a second and see maybe there is a way in. So maybe gardening feels overwhelming or something, but if you just sort of wait and just like look into it a little bit, don't tell yourself no. Don't just automatically tell
Good.
yourself no.
Yeah.
That's good.
Keep waiting on it. Keep
Buy
thinking
yourself
about
one
it.
plant and keep it alive.
Yeah.
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 I did that a couple years with drawing. I tried drawing. I wasn't very good at it, but I tried it.
Yeah.
But hey,
Yeah,
you tried it.
It was fun.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
I like shading best of all.
Oh yeah.
Shading is good.
Yeah, because you can't really mess it up. I think that's why. And then I was like overly critical of myself. That's another thing too. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah. It should be fun and refreshing. It's not another opportunity to feel
Pass or
badly.
fail.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
And maybe you'll find yourself a brand new hobby.
Right.
Mhm.
That'll be fun, and then you can make us a pot, and we would love to get that.
Or cooking.
need to
we
think
can come
about-
eat with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I need to figure out how to make some like orange and pink pots.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah, that'd
girl
be
talk
fun.
pots of some sort. Anyway,
There you go.
another thing for another day.
You heard it here first. Hey, we got some exciting stuff coming up. We want to tell you about Brookwood Church in Simpsonville, South Carolina. We are going to be speaking at a women's event there. It is April 12th and 13th. And if you would like to find out more about that, maybe you'd like to bring a group of girlfriends, we would love to see you. You can find the link in the show notes today for Brookwood Church in Simpsonville, South Carolina, if that is near you. Or if you want to just plan a girls' weekend and get out of town.
That's what we're doing.
That's exactly what we're doing.
That's right.
Yeah, and we want to say thank you to Compassion. They are our sponsor for this season of the Girl Talk podcast, and we are big believers in what Compassion does. They release children from poverty in Jesus' name, and you can be a part of what they're doing all around the world. You can adopt a child. You can like sort by birthday, so you can get a child with your same birthday, or maybe your child has a birthday and you'd like for them to be pen pals.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You get letters from your child. You hear all about how they're growing and learning. And the thing that I love about Compassion that makes them different, that sets them apart, is they lead with Jesus.
Yep.
They make sure every Compassion child knows about the love of Jesus. And you can see it on their faces. I'm telling you the truth. We've all had the opportunity to go on a trip with Compassion, and we see their work firsthand. So they're the real deal. So if you'd like to find out more about Compassion, you can go to thelightfm.org, click on the Compassion banner, or on the Girl Talk page. Click on the Compassion banner and tell them we sent you, because we love them so much for sponsoring this season of the Girl Talk podcast. Thank you, Compassion, and thank you for being here. We'll save you a seat for next time when we get around these microphones for the next Girl Talk podcast.